Unlock that gate right now, or I'm calling the police. That's how my morning started before I'd even finished my first sip of coffee. Melody Whitmore, 52, HOA president and full-time dictator, screaming through my fence while a line of neighbors sat trapped in their shiny SUVs, honking like angry geese. And here's the part that really made me smile. I had just bought the very road they were trying to use. They wanted me to open the gate. Instead, I closed it forever. My name's Ezra Blackwood, diesel mechanic, recently divorced, 47, and proud inheritor of my grandmother Rose's ranch house tucked behind 2 acres of pine trees. When I moved here, I thought I'd found peace, quiet mornings, the smell of lavender from Grandma's old garden, and enough land to finally breathe. What I didn't know was that my property sat across the only shortcut into Willowbrook Estates, a place stuffed with 47 oversized houses and ruled by the queen herself, Melody. Back in 1985, the developer cut corners literally and convinced my grandma to let them cross 37 feet of her land with nothing more than a handshake. No easement, no paperwork, just neighborly trust. Years later, she put up a gate after vandals trashed her shed. She gave the code to emergency services and postal workers, but that gate was never meant to serve as an HOA doormat. The first time Melody pounded on my door, she didn't even knock, she announced. 7 a.m. heels clicking like a jackhammer on my porch. That gate stays unlocked 24/7, she barked, for resident convenience and property values. I told her politely that it was private property, explained the emergency code was in place, and she could calm down. Her smile curdled into acid. Listen carefully, grease monkey. Unlock it or I'll bury you in legal fees until you're living in that rusty truck. Then she spun on her heel and stormed off like she'd just conquered a nation. That was week 3. What followed was death by paperwork. Day 4, I got a county complaint about illegal commercial vehicles, my work trucks in my own driveway. Day 6, noise complaints for starting diesel engines at 6:30 a.m. Day 8, an EPA letter accusing me of dumping waste. Each envelope hit my kitchen counter like a punch. I'd sit there with my coffee going cold, wondering how one woman could weaponize the entire system against me. Neighbors avoided me, whispering that I was unstable, dangerous. I started to believe maybe they were right. One night, sitting on the porch staring at that gate, I thought about selling. Maybe Melody had broken me. Maybe I'd picked the wrong fight. Maybe it wasn't worth it. But then I found Grandma's survey papers. Crisp black lines, county stamps, proof that the road cut across our land without a single recorded easement. I took them to my lawyer, Sarah Martinez. She laughed. "Son, they've been trespassing for 40 years. You could lock that gate tomorrow, and there's not a damn thing they can do." For the first time, I realized I wasn't crazy. I wasn't wrong. Melody was. And that truth lit a fire in me I hadn't felt since my divorce. No more rolling over. No more playing nice. Melody didn't back off. She doubled down. Spread rumors online calling me unstable, dangerous, a threat to the community. Neighbors started telling me their own horror stories. Dorothy Chen whispered about $300 fines for Christmas lights that stayed up too long. Marcus Reed, a firefighter, admitted Melody threatened to fine him for having a mailbox that was the wrong shade of brown. People were scared of her, but they were starting to talk. And then Sarah's paralegal dug deeper into the county archives and found the smoking gun in 1985. The developer had lied about their access plans. They were supposed to build the road entirely on HOA land. Instead, they bulldozed through my grandma's corner, hoping nobody would notice. That wasn't just trespassing. That was fraud. Melody wasn't defending the HOA. She was standing on a 40-year-old lie. And then came the twist that changed everything. A tax auction notice appeared. Lot 47A, 1.2 acres, containing the main road section through Willowbrook. Back taxes unpaid. Auction scheduled in 45 days. Sarah nearly jumped out of her chair. "Ezra, if you buy that, you'll own their lifeline. It would cost maybe 20 grand less than a used pickup. For that price, I could hold the keys to their kingdom." Melody must have found out, because a week later her husband Brad showed up in my driveway with a leather briefcase. $30,000 in cash for a permanent easement. I stared at those stacks of bills, thought about my busted truck, overdue bills, the vacation I hadn't taken in years. But then I remembered my divorce. The settlement offers meant to shut me up. Easy money always comes with strings. I pushed the briefcase back and told him no. His smile dropped. Things could get much worse for you if you don't cooperate. I wiped grease off my hands and told him I wasn't for sale. From there, Melody went nuclear. False police reports claiming I threatened her with weapons. Inspectors sent weekly about made-up violations. Letters mailed to my boss, my insurance county commissioners painting me as unhinged. Each one just added fuel to my evidence file. And neighbors. They started cracking. Dorothy live-streamed HOA meetings. Janet, the CPA, found $87,000 missing from the HOA budget. Luxury hotels disguised as office supplies contractor bills ignored even loans taken out with HOA property as collateral. Melody wasn't just a bully, she was a thief. And then Elena Miguel, the contractor's daughter, dug into public records and dropped the bomb. Melody's real name was Margaret Whitfield. Convicted of embezzlement in Ohio in 2008. 18 months in prison. Changed her name, moved states, started over and poisoned another community. We weren't her first victims, just her latest. The week before the auction, she snapped. 2 a.m. security cameras caught her and Brad creeping around my gate with bolt cutters. Amateur hour burglary, faces clear as day, license plate in full view. I called Captain Rodriguez. He watched the footage, shook his head, and said, "This is courtroom gold. We could arrest them tonight." But I had a better idea. Let them think they got away with it. Let them walk into that auction desperate. Then we dropped the hammer. Auction day. Courthouse steps, air so cold it cut your breath. Neighbors gathered with coffee news vans, set up cameras. Melody clutched a certified check like a drowning woman holding a life preserver. Brad stood beside her, pale and sweating. The auctioneer opened bidding at 12.4. Melody shot her hand up 15. I let her twist in the wind, then calmly said, 17.5. Murmurs spread. She snapped back with 20. I said, 22.5. Brad whispered frantically, their life savings on the line. 25, she shouted, voice cracking. I sipped my coffee, waited 3 seconds, and said 30. The gavel slammed. Sold. The road was mine. Melody collapsed against Brad, a puppet with its strings cut. That evening, the HOA meeting was standing room only. Neighbors packed the community center. News cameras rolled. Janet projected bank statements, 87,000 missing. Marcus laid out false police reports, harassment threats. Captain Rodriguez confirmed felony investigations. Dorothy stood tall and motioned to remove Melody from power. The vote was unanimous, save for Melody and Brad. She lunged for the microphone, shrieking about traitors, communists, conspiracies. But Marcus, 6'4", of firefighter muscle, stepped in and told her calmly, "Ma'am, you've lost. Sit down." And that was it. 6 years of fear collapsed in one night. The Queen was dethroned, the kingdom freed, and the road, my road, remained locked until fair terms were set. Sometimes the only way to stop a bully is to remind them that property, like respect, belongs to the people who actually earn it.